If you're thinking of buying a home right now, you may want to hold off a little while longer. According to RBC's latest forecast on the housing market, we are in for a historic correction. The housing market correction that's taking hold in Canada right now is about to be the biggest one in recent history. Sales are down 23% this year so far. On the conservative estimate side, are expected to drop another 15% in 2023. There is no doubt anymore that Canada's housing market has shifted dramatically ever since the Bank of Canada started raising its interest rates from the very lows in March of 2022. The central bank is fighting a war against inflation right now, inflation that this country has not seen in the last 4 decades. And because of that, the central bank had to raise its interest rate by a full percentage point a little while ago. This is the biggest rate hike in recent memory. As it stands right now, the interest rate is at 2.5% and is expected to go to 3.25% with the next hike coming in October. And there are more rate hikes to come beyond that as well. If inflation does not go down, there is no doubt in my mind that the banks all around the world, whether it's Canada or the US, will raise interest rates even faster and harder to try and tame inflation. Let's take a dive right into the market stats so you can get an idea of the fallout that we are witnessing as we speak. This market has completely shifted, and let's take a look at what the numbers are saying. So this is a Canadian housing report based on July 16th of 2022. Taking a look at the transactions, the recent transactions are about 48,000. That's a 10% change in just 1 month and down 24% compared to a year ago. And what this really means for inventory, I'll discuss that a little bit later on. Next, the average sold price. This is now down to $665,849. That's down 6% in just 1 month. And take a look at this, down 2% in the last 12 months. Let's take a moment and pause and reflect on what that means. That means housing today is selling for less on an average basis on the countrywide spectrum. It's selling less today than what prices were selling for a year ago. Like, this is where the market is at right now. This is a drastic shift from February and from earlier on, where there were bidding wars, competing offers. You just could not make a bid without you going 300, 400K over asking. This is a different market. Take a look at the MLS benchmark price. This is at $809,700. This is down 4% compared to a month ago. And taking a look at some of the regional markets, if you take a look at the Yukon, the average sale price is around $565,000. It's actually seeing a month-on-month increase at 1% and a 12-month change around 2.7%. This you can justify because apart from BC, maybe Alberta and Ontario, and to a certain extent Quebec and the Maritimes, the other provinces did not see the crazy run-up that the other provinces saw, especially in areas of Vancouver and Toronto. So there isn't that same run-up that's causing the downward trend in pricing. Taking a look at the Northwest Territories, where the average sale price is $515,000, which is up 8% on a month-on-month basis and up 7% on a 12-month basis. You have to remember the fact there's not that many properties that actually exchange. So these stats that you see are very susceptible to the fact that there's just a fewer houses being sold. So those few houses really dictate the average sale price. This is just to give you some context behind these numbers. Taking a look at BC, this is where you start to see that month-on-month change. The average sale price in June was below $1 million. Especially compared to where the year started, we are now below $950 as the average sale price in the province. In May, it was $989. Now we're at $947. That's a month-on-month drop of 4.3% and still holding a 4.1% compared to a year ago. But as time goes on, as we move through the calendar, no doubt this 12-month change will turn negative. Let's zoom into Vancouver. So where you see the red areas, they're going from between 1.2 to 2.9 million, and the blue areas are going from 850 to 1.2. If we take a look at, for example, West Vancouver, it's holding flat at 2.9 mil at a 0.3 month-on-month change. Moving on to North Vancouver, a 2.4% drop where the average price is 1.4. Vancouver West, down 2.2%. Vancouver East, down 2% to 1.2 million. Richmond, holding relatively flat month over month at 0.7 down to just below 1.2 mil. Surrey, the average price is $1.28 million, down 3.6%. Langley, down 2%. Maple Ridge, getting close to below that $1 million mark. I'm pretty sure in the next month, 2 months, this will be below $1 million on average basis. Here we are, Port Cove. We're now seeing prices go below that $1 million benchmark. Now the average price is $981. So this is really interesting to see the fallout. Definitely this area is still running hot, but it's starting to come down. And you can start to see pockets where the average price is less than $1 million. These are the areas where I really want to see what happens in the next few months that are around that $1 million mark. Do they go below? They should, with more rate hikes to come. Taking a quick peek at Alberta, the average price is down 1 month 5.8%, where the average price is less than $450,000. It's still up 4% on a 12-month basis. Let's jump into Calgary. So you can see Calgary ranges from 220 based on where you are all the way to 860. If we take a look at the Calgary City Center, it's holding relatively flat around 595,000. Calgary West is up 0.8% at 658. Calgary South, 527,000, holding flat. Calgary Southeast, holding flat, down 0.5%. Comparatively speaking, compared to Vancouver, because Calgary did not see that same run-up, it's not seeing the same downward trend in pricing. Rockview, that's interesting, up 20% to 760,000. Calgary East, down to 363,000. So relatively Calgary is holding flat because Calgary is still considered to be affordable, especially when you benchmark against Ontario and BC. Some very interesting prices coming out of Calgary. Let's check on Edmonton. Average sale price is up 6.1% to about $406,000. Moving right along to Saskatchewan, where the average price, I would say Saskatchewan is probably one of the sole holdouts where you can actually see affordability in Canada if you're looking for housing, where the average benchmark price is around $333,000, month over month up 0.9%, and over 12 months up 4.6%. These numbers aren't so bad when you're looking at about $300,000 or so. Prices are not that crazy compared to the other provinces, so very interesting to see what happens with Saskatchewan. Winnipeg, let's zoom in here. Southwest, down 19.5%, where the average price is $469. Southeast, down 10.9%, $438,000 average price. Northeast, the really interesting Winnipeg and its surrounding areas are also seeing some major price drops on a month-over-month basis. Northeast Winnipeg, average price is $364,000, down 7.6%. All right, Ontario, where the average price is now down below $900,000. It's down 6.3% compared to May. That's 1 month drop. It's interesting to see that because of the price drops from Feb all the way to June, on a 12-month basis, the average price is only up 2.8%. I have a very strong feeling next month we're about to see that 12-month change go negative. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that little thanks button so you can get up-to-date stats on where these prices go next. Let's jump right into the GTA. So just like we saw in Vancouver, the blue areas are more of the affordable call-it areas, and the red areas are more of the hotter markets. The blue goes from 730 to 1.1 mil, and the red areas start from 1.1 mil all the way to 2.4 million. Let's pick out some areas of the GTA. Everybody wants to talk about Milton. The average price is still 1.1 million, annually up 6.4%, but the big one down 7.8% just over 1 month. What's really interesting is that the home sales are only 167,000 for the month, down 40%, down 11% compared to just a month ago. That means homes in Milton are no longer selling. And taking a look at the new listings at 408, up 7%, that means there is more inventory becoming available. As home sales drop, as new listings increase, that creates more inventory, putting even more pressure on housing prices going down south. These are the two key metrics to really pay attention to if you're looking for signs of increasing supply. Hooking around to Oakville, similar story. Sales are down 41% on an annual basis and down 12% month over month. New listings, however, are up to 570, up 8.4% on an annual basis. Again, creating that inventory as there are fewer sales and more new listings. And for the price, $1.4 million with a monthly change of minus 4%. Clicking through Brampton, the average price is still above $1 million, but taking a look at this, down 7.2% month over month. Home sales, 500. New listings, 1,500. There's 3 times more new listings than there are sales. Like, these are the real numbers right here. Look, it's down 22%. Sales are down 22% on a month over month basis, and down 53% on a year over year basis. Mississauga, they're all the same storylines. You're seeing that drop 5% month over month. New sales only 600, and new listings are up triple that almost. There's lots of inventory being created on the west side of Toronto. Take a look at North Toronto, Vaughan, same thing. Fewer sales, more listings. Vaughan is now below 1.3 million with a month-over-month drop of 5.7%. Markham, 1.3 million, down 2.2%. Caledon, this one's very interesting. 1.5 million is the average price, down 13% on a month-over-month basis. Now it's only up 3.8%. I'm very sure we'll take a look at these numbers next month. This is going red. I'm very interested to see what happens next month. Another one, Newmarket, now down less than 1.2 million with a drop of 3.8%. Same story, few sales, more listings. Let's dig into the core of Toronto. Bay Street corridor, down to $901,000, month over month, down 2.6%. Sales are fewer than new listings. Let's keep poking around. St. Jamestown, 868. Interesting, holding flat month over month at 0.2%, which in theory makes sense as a lot of people might be moving out where they were working from home. Offices are opening up, so they're probably moving back downtown. And this is one of the, call it again, I hate to use the word affordable when you're looking at an average price of 868, but that's the situation of the market. So comparatively affordable to the rest of the areas. All right, some of the red zones. There we go. Riverdale, down 9.1% month over month. I'm sure these red areas are about to see some major impacts. Danforth, interestingly, down 0.4%. Oak Ridge, up 10%. Very interesting. This just might be because there's only 31 sales, so they have a very high influence on the average sale price because just a small market to choose from. This is more of an outlier than compared to where you have hundreds of sales or thousands of sales. Don Mills, same concept, only 48 sales, so they can really dictate that average sale price. Interesting. Yonge and Eglinton Forest Hill, down 1 month, 27%. That's enough poking around Ontario. Taking a quick peek out west, in Quebec, the average price is $506,000, which is also down 1.7% compared to a month ago. Let's click into Montreal. So blue areas seem to go up from 400,000 to about 550, and the red areas go from about 550K to 1.5 mil. So taking a look at Montreal CDN, I guess it doesn't really show you the average price from month to month, but the average sale price is still up on a year-over-year basis to $730,000. And we're also seeing home sales below new listings. So Quebec in general does not seem to be as impacted as Ontario and BC, which again makes sense because major run-ups are almost all in either Ontario or BC. So Blainville up 24.6% year over year, up 14.5%. So Quebec seems very interestingly that it has seen a big run-up and these prices have yet to come down. So we'll see how this carries on in the next little while. A quick run through the Atlantic. The average sale price in New Brunswick is holding steady, up 30% on a 12-month basis, and on a 1-month basis, up 0.8%. So what's happening in New Brunswick seems like it's still holding strong because the average sales price is still below 300K. So there's a lot more room to grow, especially as buyers from Ontario and BC who were locked out flew out east and settled in. Newfoundland, average price is 281, so it's seeing an uptick, up 3.5% on a month-over-month basis. The housing situation is no doubt getting a lot of attention. It's actually part of the reason why you're watching this video because housing is making the headlines. We're seeing massive drops, especially in 2 key markets in Canada, Ontario and BC. And as we just saw, the rest of the province is sort of a mixed bag depending on where you go because Canada has regional markets. So out east, it's still holding relatively strong. The prairies, again, mixed bag, some are up, some are down because you have buyers going from one province to another province, especially if they're priced out. So we're in for a very interesting next few months. And I'll make more of these videos so you can see what the prices look like. Well, it's really interesting. Just a few days ago, BC implemented some new rules on housing. More specifically, they have introduced a new cooling off period for new sales. It's a measure introduced by the government to protect home buyers who are feeling pressured by high price situations that no doubt everybody's feeling. So this home buyer protection period is the first of its kind being introduced in Canada, and it's coming out in BC, and it goes into effect Jan 1 of next year. And to really no surprise when this was announced, the BC Real Estate Association was fully against this cooling off period, and they fully condemned this new protection for home buyers. So what does this cooling off period really give you? Well, according to the BC government, this cooling off period will give a buyer 3 business days following an accepted offer to conduct due diligence such as inspections, seeking legal advice, and confirming financing. And that's not all. The home buyer protection plan also includes a cancellation fee of 0.25% of the purchase price, or $250 for every $100,000 for those of you that would like to back out of the deal. So here's an example. Let's say a purchaser backs out of a deal where the home was valued at $1 million. They would have to pay this, call it cancellation fee, only $2,500. And compare that to the massive deposits that people are risking without this protection in place. You could be losing a $20K deposit, $50K, $100K deposit. Relatively speaking, $2,500 just to back out of the deal, not so bad. This program applies to both resale homes and the sale of new homes. I have a feeling that this cooling off period that's being introduced in BC will likely cause some disruption in the next little while, but should settle down into normalcy as more people get accepted and get used to the idea. Curious to know how many of you watching this video right now would want something like this in your own province, whether you're coming from Ontario, Alberta, out east, doesn't matter. I want to hear from you. Would you want something like this protection plan in your own province? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, what's really interesting is that the same forces that are really cooling the housing market is putting a fire on the rental market. And the rent sector was already very tight, and now this is making it even tighter. Let's take a look at some of these stats on how the rent prices look like across the country. This is the July 2022 rent report. The average rent for all Canadian properties listed on rentals.ca was $1,885 per month in June 2022, down $3 from May, so relatively flat month over month. Let's check out the national rent rankings. The most unaffordable area goes to Vancouver, BC, where a 1-bedroom goes for $2,400. That's up 19% year over year and 1.47% on a month over month basis. And a 2-bedroom goes for close to $1,200 more at close to $3,600 for just 2 bedrooms. That's up a crazy 26%. Toronto, there seems to be about $220 difference between a 1-bedroom in Vancouver, BC versus Toronto. So Toronto is under $2,200 for 1 bedroom, and a 2-bedroom is around $3,100. That's close to a $500 difference between the two cities. But Toronto is also up 23% year over year. Richmond, BC, close to Toronto in terms of its 1-bedroom pricing at $2,144, which is up 22% on a year over year basis. 2-bedroom goes for $2,700. That's also up 23% on a year over year basis. Oakville, Ontario, the second most expensive city in Ontario, is going for $2,000 for 1 month and $2,500 for 2 bedrooms. Looking at a year-over-year basis, it's only up 2% and 10% for 1-bedrooms. And if you scroll down the list, Burlington, Guelph, Cambridge, these are all cities where the rent for 1 bedroom is close to $1,900 to $2,000. And look at this, up 19% for Guelph year over year, 22% for Cambridge. 2 bedrooms, also pretty expensive at $2,300 to $2,400 in Burlington, Guelph, and Cambridge. So then, and if you look at this bag here, there's sort of a mixed bag that's more affordable. Vaughan, Ontario, $1,700 for 1 bedroom, up 16% year over year, and $2,200 for 2 bedrooms, up 3%. Halifax, same price as Vaughan at $1,700 for a 1 bedroom, and $2,146 for a 2 bedroom, up 8%. Ottawa, less than $1,700 for 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, $2,100. Let's see where we can actually see pockets. So it looks like St. Catharines, Ontario, number 28 on the list, is one of the more affordable areas left in the province at $1,400 for 1 bedroom and $1,900 for 2 bedrooms. And interestingly enough, I actually lived in St. Catharines for 4 years, so shout out to everyone watching this who went to Brock University. Go Badgers. Winnipeg, Red Deer, Alberta, Edmonton, Saskatoon. The only city with less than $1,000 a month for rent is Saskatoon at $973 and $1,143 for 2 bedrooms. The recent narrative has been throughout the pandemic that tenants are looking to rent larger and larger units as their home becomes their home office, as their home becomes their workout place. As they're spending more times home, you want a larger property to rent. What's interesting is that this is now slowly starting to change as a lot more office workers are either being forced to work back in the office or are voluntarily going back to the office. So they're now moving closer to the downtown and where those jobs are, those core areas. And this is also causing rent flux where people are now trying to get more situated, either close to their office or they've just flat out moved out. And not to mention, interest rates are going up, so there are fewer properties. And as we just saw from this report, Vancouver and Toronto remain to be the most expensive cities in the country. Expensive to buy, it's expensive to rent, the ERs are full. It's just a very grim situation. Affordability concerns are very high for renters because you have that same household budget as to then contend with high inflation, paying more for gas, for groceries, for other bills, having to pay now more for rent. Unfortunately, as it is, I think we're still in for a lot more pain as these interest rates go up, as inflation is still running at around 8% in June. Fortunately, rental rates, I don't see them going down anytime soon. And it's really crazy to think about that. If you can't afford home ownership, at least you had the rental market to fall back on. But if you don't have the rental market to fall back on as a means of shelter, then what option do you have? Where do we turn to? Taxes are high. Cost of living is high. It's a very grim situation if you look at it, right? Our ER situation is bad. Our healthcare situation is bad. You have to wait months to someone to see you for if you're looking for a specialist. Renting is bad. Housing is bad. Expenses are bad. Taxes, everything. It's just such a grim situation. I mean, what are your thoughts on all this? What are your thoughts on everything that's happening in our country right now? I want to hear from you in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you had some meaningful takeaways from this video. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and thanks button so I know to make more content exactly like this. Make sure you check out all the links in the description below for some amazing discounts and sign-up bonuses for things like free groceries, free internet. It's all there. These are the services I use on a daily basis, so check them out. That's it for now. I'll talk to you in the comments section.